Welcome everyone to Therapeutic Yoga class. Today, we are highlighting these things right here, the knees. So here's what you're going to need for class. You're going to need your yoga mat when we hit the floor, but I want you to have some stuff in standing and sitting as well. So you're going to need a chair. Start with your chair kind of away from your mat so that you'll be able to use it for some balance, but we're going to be sitting in the chair in a little bit. So preferably a chair that does not have any sort of armrest would be excellent. You're also going to possibly need a pillow for your chair. Now, here's the thing. If you know that your quadriceps, these muscles right here are weak, we're going to be working on quad strengthening in sitting, where we're working on sitting to standing with really good alignment so that we really take care of our knees today. But if your weak quads can't get you up from a normal height chair, then go grab one pillow, two pillows, maybe even three pillows if you need to keep yourself a little bit higher than the height of an average chair, which is about 16 inches. Then have your yoga block and your yoga strap nearby, because I'm going to teach you how to do a really good exercise to equally strengthen all of your quadricep muscles. All right, so now that you have all of that, find yourself in standing and have yourself in standing so that you're using the lengthwise of your yoga mat. Chair somewhere near you, but you don't need it right now. And then place your feet so that they're about hip distance apart. So what is hip distance for most of us? Well, if we take two fists, that's about the width of our hip joints, which are in the front of our hips. And then if we bring those down between those big toe areas, that's going to be roughly hip distance for us. So everybody's fists are relative to the size of their body. Then line up the outside of your feet with the top and the bottom of your mat. Now, for most of us, when we do that, our legs are going to feel like they're turning inward. That's what we actually want. All right. Now, in this position, we're going to just do a quick, good realignment of our body and standing, because we want to get right to these knees today. So once you have that good, nice standing posture of the width of your legs, let's really work nicely at realigning what's called Tadasana, or our mountain pose. So just pick up your toes for a second. And with your toes picked up, start to push your weight into the ball of your big toe. Start to push the weight into the ball of the pinky toe and see if you can kind of play with what's called pronation, supination of your feet to equalize the weight in each of those balls of your toes. Once you feel like you've got that, then spread the toes and just relax the toes down onto the mat. And then go to your heels for a second. Don't let all the weight come back into your heels. Keep the weight that you just placed into the balls of your toes there. But in your heels, just kind of move yourself a little bit side to side and feel that you can appreciate the inside and the outside of both sides of your heels. Okay, now the knees, the highlight of today's class. Here's what I want you to do. Tighten your thighs, tighten your quadriceps. And as you do that, feel that your knees hyperextend. Now, those of you that might be in class, and as you do that, you feel any sort of pressure or pain in the back of your knees, relax your knees now. You might have some excess swelling in your knees. And so today we're going to be working on strengthening the muscles that are prone to be weak around the knees and stretching the muscles that are prone to be tight around the knees. We're not going to be specifically working on ways to manage the swelling of the knees, but a couple good hints that I will tell you from the field of physical therapy. A stationary bicycle is really, really good at working on non-weight bearing movement of the knees without irritating those joints, like walking, running, or anything like that would. Also, elevation above your heart will help you get rid of swelling in your knees if it's been there for a long time. So when you're laying down and resting, say reading a book or whatever, elevate your legs fully in a straight position. Do not put those pillows behind your knees, because that will not let you get that fluid out of the knee joint. And then finally, get used to wearing some sort of nice compression around your knee joints if you tend to have recurrent swelling in your knees because of arthritis or something like that. All right, that's all we're saying regarding swelling in the knees. But again, lots of easy conservative things that you can do. Okay, so at this point, check back in. Do you got the weight in the front of the foot, in the back of the foot, the ball of the toe, and the inside and the outside, the inside of the heel, the outside of the heel? And are your knees soft, meaning you haven't locked them out? Okay, now I want you to think about your pelvis for a second, maybe even place your hands on your pelvis and feel for yourself. Does your pelvis feel like it's tipping forward, or does your pelvis feel like it's tipping backwards? Allow yourself to kind of move through your pelvis a couple of times and see if you can find that position that your pelvis is neutral. Check in as you did that one knee didn't overbend or one knee didn't straighten. All right, now in this position, here's all I want you to do. Take a nice deep inhale. Hold that breath for me. Can you check down and just see your toes for me? And then once you just see those toes, stay looking at those toes and exhale and let your belly relax. Now, place both hands on your chest today. And as you place both hands on your chest today, hold that chest in that position, lengthen your neck and bring your head back upright so that you don't change that rib cage position and put it somewhere not in alignment with your pelvis. All right, final thing, we got to take these shoulders and arms and put them in alignment with our body. So real easy today, just gently shrug both shoulders up. Turn your hands all the way to the back of the room. And then without moving your rib cage, can you squeeze those shoulders back as you're starting to engage those muscles of your upper back between the shoulder blades and slightly open up through your chest area? Once you got that, just kind of relax your arms down to the side of your body. Okay, we are in Tadasana, beautiful realignment mountain pose. So imagine yourself, as long as your balance is good enough, to close your eyes for a second and picture yourself standing at the top of a mountain if you want. That's kind of where it got its pose from, back when those yogis, or maybe still those yogis, do that. But here's what I want you to do today. In this position, I want you to root yourself. So what do I mean by rooting? So you're not moving any joints of your legs, but what you're doing is you're actively pushing your feet down into the floor. So as you root and push your feet down into the floor, what do you at home feel engage in your legs? Do you feel your glutes start to tighten? Do you feel your quadriceps, the muscles in the front of your thighs start to tighten? Do you feel the muscles in your inner thighs tighten? Do you feel your pelvic floor begin to lift up? So stop rooting for a second, let go, don't change your alignment, and then begin to root again. As you root, I hope you feel all four of those muscle groups really beginning to engage. Heck, maybe if you're lucky, you even feel the muscles in the front of your shin bones engaging as maybe your toes start to lift up a little bit. That's what we really want to feel if we've got a good alignment. All right, so let's stay here. Keep rooting nice and firmly into your yoga mat. Take your hands to the center of the heart. Just going to do a little bit of opening through our chest today while we're rooting and warming up all of these leg muscles. So take an inhale, and as you inhale, reach your fingertips all the way forward and stretch your arms out like you're about to give a hug to a gigantic bear. And then as you exhale, bring those arms up and around that gigantic bear, but instead just hug yourself. You've got it. Inhale, open the arms, nice big stretch through those arms. Don't forget you're pushing into the floor. And then as you exhale, come all the way around and kind of hug those shoulders a little bit. It's warming up through the upper body as well. 2 more times. Inhaling, opening, nice and wide. Exhaling, hugging and closing. Can you alternate which elbow's on top of the other? You got it, guys. One last time. Inhaling, opening, nice and wide. And then exhaling and closing. Beautiful. And then relaxing the arms down. All right, relax those rooting. I already feel all my muscles engaging. Now, here's what I want you to do. We're going to go into goddess pose to start to strengthen up through these quadricep muscles. So what I want you to do is to spread your feet about 2 to 3 feet wide on your yoga mat. Now, if your balance is compromised, maybe this chair slides in front of you, okay? So I'm not going to place my chair there because I'm going to block you guys if I did that. But maybe you at home need something a little extra for balance and you don't want to be leaning to your side. Just put the chair in front of you so that you've got it. So now that you're in this position, check in that your feet are running at about a 45-degree angle from one another. Once you have those feet running at about a 45-degree angle from one another, can you line up your leg bones? So that means you've got to rotate out through those hips and get those kneecaps to line up with those second toes. That's where we want those kneecaps to line up with. You've got it. Now, in this position, before we do any movement in goddess pose, let's take a nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, really firm through your abdominals. Imagine someone's going to come and give you a nice big punch. You're firming through those abdominals and keep them nice and firm. All right, arms. We're just gently going to bring our arms out to the side, but have it so that your palms are forward. Feel that squeezing through your shoulder blades. All right, we're going to go through 5 squats in goddess pose. Really pay attention that your knees are going over your toes here. So nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, bend the knees, sit the hips back. Check in that the knees are lining up with the second toes. Inhale, coming back up. Only go as low as you feel comfortable with your strength. Exhale, coming back down. Push those knees outward. You've got it. 3 more times. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, coming down and pushing those knees outward, lining those knees up with those toes. Inhale, coming back up. Exhale, 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 guys. You've got it. Last time. Inhale, push into those feet, root really tight. And then as you exhale, exhale, coming on down. Beautiful. Inhale, come back up and exhale there. Now, we're going to do a little bit of stretching for our trunk in goddess pose. So don't go down into your full squat because you're going to have to hold it there for a couple of breaths. So take a nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, go into like a mini squat. Imagine that it's like a really high toilet or chair behind you that you're trying to sit on. So just enough that your hips are sitting back and your knees line up with those second toes. Okay, now in that position, take a nice deep inhale, lift that right arm into the air. As you exhale, grab that right wrist with that left hand. Now, push into the floor. Can you squeeze all those muscles and tighten them through your legs? Take a deep inhale here, lift that rib cage up, and then as you exhale, come over to the side. So nice, good stretch through the side of the body here. Turn that armpit up, maybe put a smile on your face, push into your legs into the floor. Deep inhale into the side of the rib cage here. Exhaling out, you've got it. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Excellent job, guys. Inhale, lift those arms up. Exhale, drop the arms down as you straighten the legs and give the legs a rest. All right, let's do the opposite side. So bracing first, take a deep inhale. Exhale and tighten through the abdominals. Now, nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, partial squat into your goddess pose. Check in that you've got your alignment here. One of the key things you need to strengthen with your legs is your quadriceps, but also those glute muscles get very weak when we have knee problems. All right, ready? Inhale, lift that left arm up. Exhale, reach up with that right hand, grab that left wrist. Okay, now really inhale, lift your rib cage up high off the pelvis, push into the floor, and exhale, side bend over to that right side. Now push into your feet here. Turn that armpit up into the ceiling. All right, let's go through the 2 breaths here. Nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Yes, guys, one more breath. Deep inhale in, push into the floor. Exhaling out. Nice. Now inhale, lifting up, and exhale, relaxing those legs. Very good. Now, slowly walk your legs in until you get back to that hip distance position. Very nice. So one of the things that really becomes problematic with people that have outer knee pain is that they have tension and loss of movement of their iliotibial band. So the iliotibial band attaches to 2 muscles up near your hip. One hip flexor called your tensor fascia lata. That's what we're going to tackle next. And then the gluteus maximus muscle. So the reason that the iliotibial band creates so many problems with the outside of the knee is it's attached to a hip flexor and a hip extensor. So everything's going to go wrong with it when it loses its ability to move. So what we're going to do in standing is tackle the hip flexor component of the iliotibial band by stretching it, because you can't stretch the iliotibial band. It's a thick, gigantic tendon, but you can stretch the muscles it attaches to. Then once we get down to the mat, we'll stretch this gluteal component of the iliotibial band. All right, so here's what I want you to do. Right foot, line the right foot up so that the outside of the foot is lining up with the bottom or the top of your mat. Then with your left leg, you're going to cross your left leg up and over your right leg. Now you've got different options here. You can put your left foot in front of the right leg if your balance is an issue. If your balance is not an issue, take that leg and see if you can line it up with the opposite leg. Now, the stretch is harder the further away the legs are from one another. So if your feet are nice and close, the stretch is going to be easier. If your feet are far away from one another, the stretch is going to be more difficult. All right, now take your hands onto your pelvis. See where your pelvis is. You want to rotate your body so that that pelvis is pointed straight forward. You should already feel that stretch through the outside of your right hip. But there's two more parts of this stretch. So with your pelvis, take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, tighten your abdominals and tuck that tailbone under. There you go. Feel it more? I hope so. Now, with that right hand, inhale that right hand up. And then as you exhale, gently side bend over. As you side bend over, let your pelvis shear slightly to the right side. Okay, so here we are stretching that right tensor fascia lata that connects to that iliotibial band. So keep that tailbone tucked under, keep that pelvis pointed forward, and see if you can get a bit of that pelvic shear. All right, let's do 2 breaths here. Nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. One more breath, deep inhale in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Inhale, reach the right arm up, and then as you exhale, drop the arm down as you uncross the legs. All right, left hip flexor, tensor fascia lata, to treat that left outer knee. So place the left foot in the center of your mat, line it up top to bottom so that you've got that alignment through that leg first. Then with the right leg, cross it up and over. Again, if balance is a compromise, keep the foot forward so that you've got a little bit more surface area that you're covering on your mat front to back. However, if balance is not an issue, line the feet up one next to the other. Want to make it harder for that tensor fascia lata? Take that leg further away. Now, hands onto your pelvis. Where is your pelvis pointed? Mine is pointed all the way over here on the opposite side of my mat. So I'm going to use my hip rotators to get it straight forward, and voila, there is that tensor fascia lata muscle. Okay, guys, so we've got one component. Now we need to get the pelvic component and the side bending component. So take a deep inhale, and as you exhale, tuck that tailbone under. How is that feeling for you at home? Keep that tailbone tucked under. Left hand, inhale it up, and then as you exhale, shear that hip up and over to that left side. All right, so keep the pelvis pointed forward, keep the abdominals engaged, push gently that pelvis to the left. 2 breaths here. Nice deep inhale and exhale. One more breath. Deep inhale here. And exhale. Beautiful. Inhale the left arm up, and as you exhale, uncross the legs. All right, we've got one more thing to work on in standing before we kind of make our way to our chair. So here's what I want you to do now. Take your body and turn your body so that you're facing your chair. If your chair is in front of you, move your chair so that it's at the top or the bottom of your yoga mat. So the gastrocnemius muscle, the calf muscle that attaches from your ankle, attaches all the way up to your knee. So a lot of times when we have problems in the back of our knee, pain and aching in the back of our knee, it can simply be because our calf muscle is really, really tight. So we're going to do a play on crescent pose here, alasana, by allowing ourselves to stretch our calf muscles in standing. So face your chair, look down that your feet are about hip distance apart from one another. Hold onto the chair if you want to. And then what I want you to do with your right leg is step your right leg back as far as you feel comfortable stepping your right leg back. Now that you've done that, can you make sure that you haven't lost the alignment between those two legs? So they should still be about hip distance apart. And then really look that right leg, the outside of the foot lines up with the outside of the mat. Okay, now lean yourself forward. Can you see now that you've got your entire body in line with that right leg? Okay, let's really work into this calf on the right side. So take a deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, straighten that right knee, push that heel down, make sure that heel doesn't turn inward. Really push down into that heel. I hope you feel it like I'm feeling it. Holding that stretch there. Make sure to tuck your tailbone under. Yes, guys, nice deep inhale here. And exhale. One more breath. Nice deep inhale in. And exhale. Excellent. Push that right leg back forward to meet the left. Let's do it all over again on the left side. So from the standing position where the chair is, step the left leg back. So you're going into crescent pose here. So right knee lines up with the right ankle, but look back with the left leg. Make sure it's still hip distance apart from the right foot. And then check in that the outside of that left foot lines up with the outside of the mat. Now, so that we're not in our back. So if we were doing true crescent pose, we'd be in this beautiful position. We're not going to do that today. Lean yourself forward so that we're not harming your back. So place your hands onto your chair. Now, make sure that you don't change the position of your right knee. All right, are you ready? Nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, push that left heel down. Can you get that left heel down to the mat? Now, tuck that tailbone under. Don't let yourself change that position. All right. I hope you feel it like I'm feeling it. Allow yourself in this position to keep that pushing down into the heel. Nice deep inhale here. And exhale. One more breath. Deep inhale. And exhale. Beautiful job. Slowly scoot that left foot back up next to the right. All right, now we are ready to make it down to our chair. So what I would like you to do is grab your yoga strap, grab your block, take your chair, turn it sideways so that you're facing perpendicular to your chair, and then put as many pillows in that chair as you feel you need to be able to get up from that chair without having to use your hands. Okay, I'm in my chair. I hope you're in your chair too. So here's what I want you to do. We're going to start with working on strengthening through these quadriceps. So allow yourself to sit in the front half of the chair. Again, remember, you have as many pillows underneath you as you need to get yourself higher if you, in fact, know that these quadricep muscles are weak. So you pick how high you're sitting in the chair. All right, now here's what I want you to do. Take your yoga block and place your yoga block between your legs. Now, there are 3 different positions to use your yoga block. There's the widest position. If you're really tall, 6'4", 6'5", that might be the position that you're going to use your yoga block. If you're under 5 feet and you've got really, 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 really small legs, then you might want to use that middle of the road, which is about 4 inches. For the majority of us, you're going to use that yoga block in its middle position, which is approximately 6 inches. So You pick how you want to use your yoga block at home. I'm going to use mine in the middle position. Now, here's what I want you to do. You're using a yoga strap here, but if you don't have a yoga strap at home, just find something that you can wrap around your legs and tie your legs together. So if you're using a yoga strap, the yoga strap goes up and through the D ring or the plastic ring, whichever you've got, and then allow yourself to really tighten that yoga strap up and over that yoga block. So essentially what you've done is you have connected your legs to the yoga strap with the block in between that yoga strap. So give yourself the second to do that. And then what we're really going to be working on now is strengthening through these quadriceps. Now, quadricep, you have 4 of them. Okay, so you've got this big, bad vastus lateralis that's on the outside of your leg. It sits underneath your iliotibial band. And usually that muscle in conjunction with the iliotibial band starts to lose a lot of mobility. And that's one of the key reasons for outer knee pain. But one of the general reasons that people have kneecap pain and knee joint pain and arthritis is that all of the quadricep muscles get weak. So a simple sit to stand exercise is a great exercise to work on strengthening through all 4 of those quadricep muscles. So here's what I want you to do. Check in that your knees line up with the middle of your feet, not your ankles. So have it so that your feet are slightly underneath you. Once you have that, make sure you're sitting on the outer edge of the chair. Please don't have a chair that has wheels. I don't want you to end up on the floor. All right. So the first time we're going to do it just so we get control of our breath and control of our movement. And then if you want to work super hard, I'm going to give you an option for what to do with your hands. So here's what you're going to do. As you inhale, you're going to hinge at your hips and bring your chest and shoulder in line with your legs and knees. As you exhale, you're going to push into the floor, push into the band, and bring yourself upright. Now, you don't need to go into a fully standing position today. In fact, I'm not going to go into the full standing. I'm going to go into the almost standing position. Then we're going to inhale and come all the way back down into the chair. So exhaling, pushing up, pushing out, pushing down. Inhaling, sitting back down is what I want you to do with your breath and your movement. Now, if you want to give yourself a little bit of an extra challenge, then take your hands up in front of you. Roll your shoulder blades back and down. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. All right, let's give this a try. 5 times, ladies and gentlemen. So take an inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, push and push and push and push and push. And inhale, sit down, unhinge. You got it. Exhale there. Inhale, push forward. Exhale, push, 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 push. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, unhinge. You got it. 3 more times. Let's do this. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, push, 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 push. And exhale, sitting down and unhinge. 2 more times. I know you have it in you. Inhale, hinge forward. Exhale, push, 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 push. And inhale, sitting down. And exhale, unhinge. One last time. Let's do it, guys. Inhale, forward with the hinge. Exhale, push into the floor, push out into the strap. And then exhale, sitting down. And inhale, sitting down, and exhale, unhinge. I completely messed up when to inhale and exhale with telling you, but hopefully you got that at home. All right. So you want an exercise to make your knees stronger? You just found it. So all you need is something to stop your knees from losing their alignment on not getting all 4 muscles. So what you're doing with your yoga strap and your yoga block here works perfectly. Okay, so unloop your yoga strap a little bit, but then take the lasso around your feet, because we're going to be using that again when we get down onto the floor. So since you've already got it in its position, just keep it in that position so it'll be easier once we get to the floor. And then gently take your yoga strap to the floor. Yoga block, just gently place it beside you. All right, so in sitting, one thing that we're going to work on is really opening up through our hip flexors here. So we have one of the 4 hip flexors that comes down and attaches to the front of our knee. It is a big bad boy relative to our knee. It's called your rectus femoris. So we are going to stretch the hip flexors in a sitting position, and then we're going to even tackle that muscle more once we get down to the mat. So allow yourself to turn to the left side of your chair. Have it so just your left sit bone is sitting onto the chair, and have it so that the left knee is stacked over the left leg. Now, we're not going to be working on a lot of core stuff today. This is really about the knee, so I want to make sure you feel this nicely through this the hip flexors. So just gently drop your right leg down so that your right knee stacks perfectly underneath your left knee. Right toes turned under if you can do that. If not, top of your foot is fine. Now, can you in that position look down at your right foot and make sure that right knee, make sure that your right leg isn't called abducted. So it's not coming out to the side, but that your kneecap is in fact dropped straight down to the floor. You've got it. Now, allow yourself just to gently weight bear your hands onto the left leg. That way we stay out of our back, because it's about the knee here. It's not about your back today. Now, take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, really tuck that tailbone under. Feel that stretch in the front of your thigh. Here's what I want you to add today to your knee. If you pull your knee more closer to the chair or let your knee come away from the chair, do you feel that stretch differently? Keep the tuck of the tailbone as you're doing that. Feel it all the way down that thigh. Now keep that tuck tight. Give me 2 breaths. Nice deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Oh, yes. One more breath, deep inhaling in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Relax the tuck of the pelvis. Rotate yourself to the opposite side. So right sit bone is on the chair. Right knee is on top of the right foot. Drop that left leg down so that the knee stacks perfectly underneath the hip. Again, look down at your knee and make sure that your knee is not kind of going out to the side any, because you're still dealing with the tightness issue of the outside of your hip flexors. So keep that knee and that leg bone perfectly perpendicular to the floor. All right, weight bear your body slightly forward over that right leg so we're out of our back. Let's do this. Take a nice deep inhale in. And then as you exhale, really tuck that tailbone under. Feel that stretch all the way down the front of that left thigh. Holding that position there. Nice deep inhale into the belly. Really keep that tight pelvic tilt, guys. Exhaling out. And one more time, deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Releasing that position, turning yourself to the front. All right, now, before we get out of this chair position, we're going to do a bottoms up. Bottoms up is to lengthen the whole back of your thigh and your gluteals. So again, remember, it could be that we're just focusing on hamstrings, but we're going to really focus on lengthening the whole backside of our leg because it so impacts our knee joints. So I'm just going to turn myself so that you can see me from the side. You do not need to turn at home, but allow yourself in your seated position to take your elbows and place your elbows down onto your knees. Now, if you've got a lot of tension or tightness in your back, give yourself this opportunity to kind of maybe do a couple of pelvic tilts, kind of pelvic cat-cow positions, and try to get your back in the straightest position that you can. If you were to see yourself from the side, you should see that your shoulder, your elbow, your knee, and your ankle all vertically line one on top of the other. From this position, keeping that back nice and straight, lengthen your neck, tuck your chin, gaze down into your hands or the floor. All right, now take a nice deep inhale, and as you inhale, push into the feet and lift your hips up off of the chair. Then as you exhale, Lengthen that neck, settle that chin, straighten those knees, and look straight back at the seat pan of that chair. Inhale, bend the knees. Oh, look, we're doing more quad work, guys. Exhale, straighten those knees, look straight back at that seat pan. 3 more times. Inhale, keep that back nice and straight for me. Exhaling, straightening. 2 more times. Inhaling, sitting close to the seat pan, but don't sit all the way. Exhaling, straightening through those knees. Inhaling, sitting. Last time here. Exhaling, straightening through those knees. And inhaling, sitting back down in a chair. And as you exhale, slowly curl yourself back up into the upright position. So really easy to do, but nicely functionally releases hamstring, sciatic nerve, gluteals, even your calf muscles. So if you've got tightness of the back affecting your knee joints, it's a great breathing and movement exercise to do. Okay, we're done with the chair. So now we're going down to the mat. So just allow yourself just to stand up, take your chair, move it away, and then meet me down on the mat in a seated position. Okay, guys, we're on our mat. I hope you're down there with me. So if in this seated position, you're already feeling tension into your knees because you're sitting and your hips are below your knees, that pillow that you used in your chair, just take it for a minute and sit on it, okay? It's going to bring your hips a little higher up, maybe double it, maybe triple it. Do what's comfortable for you. We're only here for a quick minute to get those gluteal muscles on the outside of our leg for those individuals that might have IT band issues. All right, so now here's what I want you to do in this position. I want you to take your left leg and place your left leg straight out in front of you. So second toe, ankle, knee, hip, all line up. Then take your right foot and place your right foot up and over that left knee. Now, this isn't a large spinal twist. So for those of you that are getting concerned, oh, I shouldn't be twisting my spine because I have some sort of degenerative disc disease, some sort of scoliosis, some sort of osteoporosis. This isn't a seated spinal twist. This is to get a stretch through the gluteals. So take your right hand, place your right hand on the floor beside you. Left hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Now, what I want you to do is take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, try to pull the knee so that the right knee lines up with the left knee, ankle, hip, and hopefully you're feeling a nice gentle stretch through the outside of that right hip. Now to make it better, take an inhale and sit up nice and tall. And there's your gentle stretch. Exhaling here, let's do 2 nice deep inhales and exhales. Deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. One more breath, deep inhale in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Release the tension on that right knee. Take the right leg straight. Toes are up. Line up the second toe on the right foot with the ankle, with the knee, with the hip. Bend the left leg up. Then that left foot comes up and over that right knee. Right hand to the outside of that left knee. Left hand, just sit on the floor so that you've got yourself balanced. No spinal twist here, but start with the hip component first. So take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, pull that left knee until it lines up with that right leg, hip, knee, and ankle. Then with your body, take a nice deep inhale and sit up nice and tall, and then exhale, holding here. Now you should feel a stretch through your gluteals. Holding here, 2 deep inhales and exhales. Nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. One more breath, deep inhaling in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Release that tension, relax that leg. Turn your legs to the side. And then bring yourself up into hands and knees. Now, I would keep that pillow nearby for those of you that have back issues, because we're going to be making our way down onto our belly very, very shortly. But let's go through a couple of cat-cows for a moment. If you've got sensitive knees, remember, we're focusing on the knees today. This is the only thing we're doing in kneeling, because a lot of people can't handle being on their knees and kneeling. But if you've got sensitive knees, to do your cat-cow, walk yourself so that your toes are all the way off your yoga mat. Then take your yoga mat and double it. And take your yoga mat again and double it, so that you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. Then gently place your knees on that yoga mat, and then walk your hands forward. You're not going to be on your yoga mat, but that's okay. We're only going to be here for 3 breaths. Gaze back that your knees are hip distance. Your feet are stacked right on top, in line with those knees, and the hips are stacked on top of the knees. Hands, wrists, elbows underneath the shoulders and shoulder width apart. Index fingers, point them forward, spread in those thumbs. All right, let's go through 3 breaths here. So as you inhale, sink the belly, lift the tailbone, lengthen through the front of the chest, looking up to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, tucking all the way under. Very nice. 2 more breaths here. Inhale, sink, 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 lengthening, lengthening, lengthening through the front. Exhaling, tuck, 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 curling, 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 lengthening, lengthening, lengthening to the back. One final time here. Inhaling, 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 finding that cow pose, and exhaling, 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 finding that end cat pose. All right. Only child's pose of the class. Do it if your knees can do it, but walk yourself back gently. Can you settle your heels and your bottom towards one another? If you do not have adequate range of motion to do that, voila, find your yoga block so that you can take the yoga block, place it between your knees in whatever position you need to rest your pelvis on the yoga block without putting extreme tension into your knees. So find the position of your yoga block that's comfortable for you if your knees are a problem, and then very gently allow yourself to settle the crown of your head downwards towards the floor. Okay, let's do 2 deep inhales and exhales here. So nice deep inhale into the belly, exhaling out. And 1 more breath. Nice deep inhaling in and exhaling out. And then slowly uncurling yourself, taking the block out of the way if you were using that. And let's get off of these knees. Once you have your yoga mat all the way straight, again, we are going down onto your belly. So if you're somebody that has a sensitive low back, take a pillow down onto your yoga mat and bring yourself down so that that pillow is resting underneath your abdomen and your chest, just going to prevent you in being an end range extension of your low back. It's not about your low back today, ladies and gentlemen. It's about your knees. So let's just try to protect the areas of our body that might be vulnerable. If you have no low back issues, pillow be gone. We are done with it. But grab that lasso that you made earlier in class. Take it, make it a little bit smaller. It's going around the arch of your foot. Once you have it nice and small, take your right foot, bend it, and place that lasso around your right foot. Now, in this position, place the yoga strap up and over your right shoulder. Do not force your heel towards your bottom right now. But once you make your way onto your belly, you've got the lasso around that right ankle. Take this moment to bring your knees together. So again, if the outside of your hip, the hip flexor or gluteals are your knee problem, you want to make sure that you're keeping alignment through those legs. Now, in this position, lengthening your neck, settling your chin. Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, slowly pull that yoga strap up and over your shoulder until you just begin to feel a little bit of tension in your thigh. There should be no sharp pains in your knee or your kneecap. If you feel that, let off. It's not about causing pain or creating inflammation to joint surfaces. It's about stretching through the quadriceps and the rectus femoris. Speaking of the rectus femoris, here we go. Let's add it. So take a nice deep inhale here, and as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under as hard as you can. Can you feel that stretch in your thigh? Now, check in with all three components. Are your knees squeezed together? Do you have gentle tension of your heel towards your buttock? Are you tucking that pelvis under? All right, let's breathe. Give me a nice deep inhale into the belly. Exhaling out. One more breath, guys. Deep inhale into the belly. Exhaling out. You've got it. Release the pelvic tilt. Release the strap. Release the knees from one another. All right, just gently reach back, grab that strap around that right ankle, turn that right toes under. And in this position, before we move on to the left side, allow yourself in this position to straighten that right knee. So you've given the rectus femoris and the quadriceps a nice good stretch. Train those quadriceps on how they should work. So turn the toes under, push the heel away from you, really lift that kneecap up. I hope you feel your quadriceps firing. Hold it here. Give me a nice deep inhale and an exhale. One more breath, deep inhaling in. And an exhale, and then release that leg. You've got it. All right, yoga strap, lasso. Bend the left knee up, place it around the arch of the left foot. Take the yoga strap up and over the left shoulder. Once you have all of that, allow yourself to take those knees and bring them tightly together. And then very gently take an inhale. And as you exhale, start to pull the heel towards the buttock. Again, do not cause pain in the knee joint, pain in the kneecap. You should just feel light tension in the thigh or the knee. Only go to light tension because you have to add that rectus femoris. And if you add it and you've already got yourself into too much tension, you're not going to get anywhere with your knee. Here we go. Nice deep inhale. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, tighten the abdominals. Feel that exaggerated stretch into that left quadricep muscle. Now hold that pelvic tilt. Squeeze those knees together. Keep the tension into the strap. 2 deep inhales and exhales. Give me a deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. You got it, guys. One more time. Tuck, 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 tuck. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Inhale in. And exhaling out. Beautiful job. Release the pelvic tilt. Release the tension on the knee. Just reach back. Grab that yoga strap off of that ankle. You're done with that yoga strap. But then turn the left toes under. So we did a good job at strengthening. Let's retrain the quadriceps in this position. So don't let your pelvis move. Don't let your back move, but turn your toes under. Lift that left leg. Push down into that left heel. Feel those quadricep muscles lengthening in this position. Give me a nice deep, deep inhale into your belly. Exhaling out. One more breath here. Deep inhaling into the belly. Tighten, lift that knee, exhaling out, and then relaxing that knee down. Beautiful. Now we're going to push ourselves back into child's pose. Have that block ready if you need it for your knees. Hands underneath the shoulders, lengthen the neck, settle the chin, drop the elbows down to the mat. Take a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, tuck your tailbone under. Push yourself back up into hands and knees. And then very slowly settle your heels towards your bottom. Use the block if your knees need it. Dropping your hands forward, resting your elbows down, slowly dropping your head down towards the floor. Taking a nice deep inhale here. Exhaling out. One more deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Slowly bringing yourself back up into a kneeling position. Grab your yoga block. You're going to need it to support your head unless you want to use that pillow that might be somewhere behind you. So here's what I want you to do. Lay yourself down onto your left side so that your right side is up. Rest your yoga block so that you can rest the head onto the yoga block so that you feel that your neck isn't in too much of a side bend. So the very last thing that we need to focus on working on here relative to knees is the strength of our gluteals and our hip rotators. So a lot of times what happens that wears a knee out is that the hips are too weak and you're using undue forces on the inside and outside of the knee. So let's take this last moment to strengthen through our hip rotators and our gluteal muscles. So take your ankles and drop your ankles down so that they line up with your hips and with your trunk. Once you feel like you have that position, you should be able to see that your hips are at about a 70-degree bend. Stack your knees, stack your ankles, take your right hand, place your right hand on your pelvis. Now, take an inhale here, and as you exhale, tighten your abdominals, keep your pelvis nice and still. Only move the right leg. Clams. As you inhale, lift the right leg up. Do not let the pelvis rotate backward. As you exhale, drop it down. 4 more times. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, dropping. By all means, if you have a band at home that you can wrap around your legs, that is perfect. 3 more times. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, dropping. Nice deep inhale, lift into clam. Exhale, dropping down. And final time, inhaling, lifting into clam. And exhaling down. Very nice. Take both of those knees, pull them up towards your chest. So now your knees are above your hips. Take your right hand, hold on to your left leg so that the left leg is kind of secure. Right leg. Take an inhale, kick that leg straight out. Now, can you line that leg out so that it lines up with the floor in your yoga mat? Harden through the abdominals. Get yourself a nice stable pelvis, a nice stable spine. Only move the right leg. Can you inhale and lift your leg up 2 inches or so? Can you exhale and drop it down? 4 more times. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. 2 more. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling, dropping. And final time, inhaling and lifting. And exhaling and dropping. Sweeping that right leg in to meet the left. You at home, all you need to do is a 180-degree turn behind you. I'm going to push myself up and turn to the opposite side of my yoga mat. Do what's comfortable for you at home. But find yourself now laying on your right side. Once you're laying on your right side, have your yoga block to support your head. Take the ankles, line the ankles up with the hip and the low back and the trunk. Once you have that position, left hand onto the pelvis. Get yourself in a position that you can take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, harden, tighten those abdominals. Don't let that pelvis move. 5 clams on the left side. Let's take an inhale. Lift that left knee up. Only thing moving should be your hip. Exhale, dropping it down. Keep your pelvis stable. Inhaling and lifting. Exhaling and dropping. Nice and slow. Wins the race, guys. Inhaling and lifting. Exhaling and dropping. Inhaling and lifting. Exhaling and dropping. Just one more time. Inhale, lift that knee up as the hip rotates. Exhale, drop that knee down. All right, slide those knees up towards your belly. Have it so that your knees are above your hips. Left hand, grab and hold on to that right leg so your spine is nice and stable. Brace and tighten through your abdominals here. And then inhale, kick that left leg away. Now, can you get that leg straight down? parallel with that floor. All right, nice tight abdominals. Don't let your pelvis move. Don't let your low back move, just the hip. Inhale, lift a couple of inches. Exhale and drop. 4 more times. Inhale and lift. Exhale and drop. And inhale and lift. Exhale and drop. Inhaling, lifting. Exhaling, dropping. Is your pelvis stable? Is your abdominals tightened? That's an R. Inhaling and lifting. And exhaling and dropping, sweeping that left knee in to match the right, taking your yoga block, placing it away from you, and then gently rotating yourself over onto your back. All right, find yourself comfortably in the center of your yoga mat once you feel like you're in a comfortable position. And take your left leg and drop your left leg down so that it's down in the center of the mat. Then take a nice deep inhale, pull the right knee up, but not just pull that right knee up today. Bring the knee to the center of your chest. I hope you're feeling something through the right gluteals. Going back to those gluteal muscles and adding the hip rotators this time. Take your right hand to the backside of your right knee. Take the left hand and grab down near that right ankle. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Keep that right knee in the center of your body. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, pull that right heel up towards that left shoulder. Can you find that piriformis muscle in your right gluteals and buttock area? All right, holding it right here. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, smile on your face. Why not, ladies and gentlemen? Give me a deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. One more breath. Deep inhaling in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Let the left hand release the right ankle and then place the right foot onto the left thigh. Left hand now reach up and over to grab that right knee, right hand out to the side of your body. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then as you exhale, let that right leg come across the body. Feel the pelvis rotate, feel the low back rotate, feel the rib cage rotate. Keep that right shoulder blade down onto the mat, lengthen your neck, settle your chin, and then let your gaze and your head rotate to the right. Nice deep inhale into the belly here. And exhaling out. One more breath, deep inhale in. And exhale out. Slowly bringing the head back to the center, starting at that rib cage and unrotating the rib cage, unrotating the low back, unrotating the pelvis and the hip, placing the right foot on the floor and then sliding the left leg up, bringing the knee all the way to the chest. Once you have it there, slide the right leg down, but check in that you've got the right leg today in the center of your mat. Then slowly begin to bring the left knee into the center of your chest. You should already feel a nice, beautiful gluteal stretch there. Take the left hand to the underside of the left knee. Take that right hand now and grab near that left ankle. All right, take a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, pull that left ankle towards that right shoulder. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin, embrace that beautiful stretch into your left buttock area. Say hello to your left piriformis muscle. Allow yourself to hold the stretch. Taking a nice deep inhale into your belly and exhaling out. One more breath, deep inhaling in. And exhaling out. Beautiful job releasing the right hand from the left ankle and placing the left foot onto the right thigh. Right hand now comes the outside of the left knee, left hand out to the side of the body. Now, nice deep inhale. And then as you exhale, rotating that left knee to the right, lifting the pelvis, lifting the low back, rotating through that shoulder blade, keeping that left rib cage onto the mat. Lengthening the neck, settling your chin, gazing to that left hand. Let's do 2 beautiful breaths here. Nice deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. And one more deep inhaling in and and exhaling out. Excellent job. Slowly unrotating the head, then starting at that shoulder blade and rib cage and begin to unrotate the spine. And then follow with the pelvis and the hip, placing the left foot on the floor, bringing that right knee all the way back up to your chest, bringing that left knee up to your chest, taking those hands around those shin bones. Give me a nice deep inhale into the belly here. Exhale, pull those knees into the chest. How are our knees feeling? Taking a deep inhale here and an exhale. One more breath, guys. Deep inhale in and an exhale. And dropping each of those feet to your mat. Once you're there, slowly allowing one heel to slide down to one corner of the mat, the other heel to slide down to the other corner of the mat. Feel that you're in a nice resting neutral position for your pelvis and your low back. Gently rotate your shoulders underneath you. Rest your arms out to the side of you. Lengthen your neck. Settle your chin. Deep inhale into that belly. Open that mouth, guys. Maybe even stick that tongue out. Lion's breath. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep inhale in. Open that mouth. All right. Rest yourself into your normal breathing breath. Just letting yourself be in this position. Knees are such a tough thing to take care of because half the time they're just the effect. The causes are either in the ankle and tightness and weakness in that calf, or in the thigh or hip with tightness or weakness. So if we can treat the ankle, we can treat the hips. We can treat maybe even the trunk. Half the times, all of the knee problems just go away. And keep your body nice and still. Slowly pay attention to your breath. Where do you feel that breath? Is it in your belly? In your chest? In your throat? Maybe even in your nostrils? Keep your body nice and still and do nothing but be aware of your breath. Now slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Maybe do some circles with your wrists and your ankles. And then when you feel like you're ready, one leg at a time, slide that foot up. And then gently with both feet flat on the floor and knees bent, rotate yourself to your left or your right side. Rest there for just a moment. Maybe a smile, nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. And then when you're ready on an exhale, top hand, bottom elbow, push yourself up into a seated position. Boy, did that feel good today. Easy pose with those legs, hands to the heart, smiles on those faces. Give me a nice deep inhale in. Exhaling out. Namaste. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. Thank you for joining me today.